Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to be doing a review on these Dinardo Worldwide Tutela Evo custom boxing gloves. So stay tuned. Alright guys, today we have the Dinardo Custom Tutela Evo boxing gloves. We'll do a close-up, a weigh-in and review on. Got mine in 14 ounce Velcro closure. These are handmade in Italy by Dinardo himself. Just a small workshop in Turin, Italy, made by one individual who makes all kinds of boxing equipment, from gloves to headgear to shoes and other leather goods. And you can see it's a beautiful glove. It has kind of an old school look to it with this dark blue leather for the punch surface in the back of the glove. I went with silver for the Dinardo cloverleaf logo and the C squared on the bottom part of the lower hand compartment. I went with the brown leather, which is more of a vintage look and has more of a suede type finish. And then the palm side uses a gray leather, which actually has more of a textured, rough and rigid finish to it. Double stitching with the gold color, gold piping, and a beautiful glove. And then you have the Filippo with the name embossed into the Velcro strap, handmade in Italy, 2020. Tutela Evo, which is a soft protective style padding, 14 ounces, and then the Dinardo patch on the back of the Velcro strap. Inside liner is a beautiful Italian design satin liner. And you can see just a beautiful looking glove. And just show you the kind of the padding consistency. Again, is on the soft to medium density. The more you compress this padding, the better protection you get from it. So you can see it has a really nice flat conforming punching surface. So when you land your punches with this, you get a really good satisfying feeling and pop on the bag. So let's go ahead and put this on the scale. See how much these weigh. So the right glove is right at 14.4 ounces, 14 and a half ounces. And the left glove is about 14 and a half ounces. So they're about a half ounce overweight. Not a big deal for training gloves, but they're exactly on weight with each other, which is great to see. So let's go ahead and do the review. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I'm excited to bring you guys a review of these Dinardo custom Tutela Evo boxing gloves. I got mine in 14 ounce Velcro closure, and the custom color scheme I decided to go with, wanted a little bit more of a subdued classic look with a little bit of flair. So I decided to go with this dark blue color scheme. Now, when you're picking their colors with Dinardo, they use obviously the Italian terms for the different colors, which I can't remember, to be honest with you. So I'll just describe it to you the best way I can as far as just the colors go, but he does use the Italian colors like Oceano and a bunch of other different terms for the different colors and the type of leather that's being used here. But in the case of showing this to you guys, I'll just describe it to you guys for what it is. So this is a dark blue, a couple shades darker, is probably could pass for black, just depending on the light and kind of the angle that you look at this leather at. I decided to go with the silver for the Dinardo cloverleaf logo, as well as the C square down here towards the Velcro cuff. On the palm side, I decided to go with this beautiful gray leather, as well as gold stitching, as well as gold piping for both the palm side, the thumb, and the Velcro strap. I went with this beautiful brown leather that really reminds me of kind of like a Napa leather, if I were to feel it. It has kind of a little bit more of a different texture. So the awesome thing about these gloves is that they use 100% Italian calf skin leathers. And you can definitely tell the differences between the kind of hides between both the back of the hand compartment, the thumb, and as well as the palm. Use different kinds of hides and just the texture, maybe a different part of the calf that they use for each section of the glove. And also it probably just depends on the dyeing process for the color of the leather. But just a beautiful overall glove right here. Now, for those of you that know about Dinardo, there's probably no explanation needed. Obviously, for those of you that don't, Dinardo is a one-man workshop based out of Turin, Italy. that 100% makes everything there in his workshop. It's not a mass-produced glove. It's not a glove you'll find anywhere else. It's a one-man show. He builds all the gloves himself. So when you do order gloves from him, they're going to be to your specification, your color scheme. So there's not really a stock guide of colors that you typically would see with some of the larger brands like Tidal, Everlast, even Winning, or even Fly, where they have, you go to click on their website and you have a drop-down menu, and you'll see all the stock colors you can choose from, order it, and bang, they're shipped out. They're ready to be shipped to you. With these gloves, you order them and he builds them exactly to your spec. So it's not like he has a bunch of these gloves and this exact color scheme you see here just waiting to be shipped out to the customer. He hand builds them. They're built to order, basically. So there's a period of time that you have to wait when you order these until you get them. But again, you get what you pay for with this type of glove. But this is Italian calfskin leather. All of the components here are from Italy. So another good thing is that you're not getting a product that's using material from other regions, like maybe he's sourcing his leather from like Pakistan or India or wherever he may be, and bringing it into Italy and making it there. He's using all the components there in Italy. And definitely I would use, the analogy of this is really close to just like a lot of things in Italy where they use a lot of pride and craftsmanship when it comes to their leather goods, whether it be their bags, the shoes, the clothing. That's why a lot of people are paying premium prices for Italian goods, because that's what they do. That's just the kind of products they build. Obviously, you have a lot of higher end products that come from Italy, so they command that kind of price and just that attention to detail, typically what you get with an Italian product. And you definitely see it with these gloves. And I'll kind of go more into that here at the end of the video when it comes to the cost of the gloves and just kind of balancing whether or not it's worth it to you. But before we go into that, let's kind of break the glove down. Now, I've used this glove for training. I've used them for minutes. I've done bag work with them. So I have a really good impression on how these gloves actually perform, which I'll break down for you. But design-wise, you can see it has a little bit more of a slimmer profile. I would see these gloves are a little bit more on the medium to compact side. For a 14-ounce glove, definitely has more of a snugger fit. If I went with 16s, it'd probably be a little bit roomier, but do keep in mind that these gloves are a little bit more on the roomier side. If you do have large hands, fat fingers, long fingers, whatever it may be, and you're looking at purchasing these gloves, I would definitely make sure you mention that to Dinardo. That way he can accommodate your hand dimensions. You can send that to him and he can make those accommodations for you. Again, you're getting a custom product here. So make sure that you give as much detail as you can, that way you get the gloves that you're looking to get. So again, like I showed you guys the color scheme there, I went with the Velcro strap. One thing I noticed with the actual leather on here, you can see the leather in the hand compartment on the back of the hand has more of a matte, smoother style finish to it. A very nice, beautiful, thick leather. Probably some of the best leather I've seen on boxing gloves. You can just see it has a nice pliability to it, nice flexibility right there. I went with the Tutela Evo style of padding, which is a soft protective style. That's what it's advertised as. Their two main style of padding is Castus or Castus. Hopefully I pronounced that correctly, which is a rigid style padding, which is going to be a little bit more harder. And then they have Tutela, which is they're semi-rigid, so it's a little bit softer. And then obviously I went with the Tutela Evo, which is what for my personal preference. Obviously it's different for everybody, so I went with Tutela Evo. But you can see again, back to the leather on the design side, you can see it has a little bit more of a matte finish. And then you go to the thumb, and it has this beautiful brown leather. And again, this has a little bit more of a suede-like feel compared to the leather on the back of the hand. So I love the fact that you're not getting the same leather throughout. There's definitely a different type of leather. Obviously they use calfskin, but this has a little bit more of a suede-like feel and more of a vintage look. Now, when you go into the palm side, the gray leather actually has a lot more of a texture to it, a little bit more rigid and a stiffer feeling leather on the palm, as well as on this Velcro strap. You can see he actually embosses his name on here on the Velcro strap. It says handmade in Italy 2020. So that's all. I love the custom feel of that's embossed in there. But you can see the leather on the actual palm side looks really nice. And even the piping, he uses leather on here on the piping itself. So it's not like they use a synthetic material. Everything is all leather. But it has kind of more of a rougher feel to it. I'm kind of scratching it that way you can see it. And you have a really nice size grip bar right there, which is really nice. So the Velcro strap is a full wraparound Velcro strap. You can see right there has a 3.5-inch Velcro strap that wraps all the way around. And then the inside liner, beautiful liner, has a very unique design on the inside. I'm not sure exactly what this is called. Kind of reminds me of like the Venetian Hotel in Las Vegas. It has kind of that Italian design and look, but a very nice liner, very beautiful scheme, and has kind of a silky satin feel to it. And then on the other side, it has kind of like almost like a ballistic microfiber that he uses on the inside of the liner. Outside of this, you can see it has more of that feel to it, but the stitching looks good in there too. But that liner is really nice and soft, and you can actually see the padding on the inside. Quality-wise, these gloves are fantastic. I mean, I really didn't find any flaws with these gloves. You can see the stitching looks fantastic on here, reinforced on the edges. The leather is top-notch. You can see just, again, like I showed you guys, the difference in the leather that he uses between each panel of the glove that's stitched to it. You can see that the leather is bonded nicely to the top, right, this top ridge where the gray meets the dark blue. It does have that blue attached thumb that's linked into the leather there. Stitching is done beautifully. Thumb looks really nice. The piping around that, it looks really good. Piping around the Velcro, or should I say piping around the palm side, looks great. Velcro strap is done really nicely, reinforced down that seam. This piping is done good. You can see the inside of the liner. Looks all nice and clean. Love that. Piping around the cuff looks good. Yeah, as far as the padding goes, I'd say maybe an inch and a half of padding on the back of the wrist. The inside of the wrist, I'd say you have maybe a 1/4 inch of padding on here, and it's kind of you can't really see it very well because the Velcro kind of hides it. But it starts right about down here and it leads up to right here at the thumb, so it kind of triangles off. And then on the other side, you have that padding right in here, and again it has this tapered off section that kind of comes up here. But again, about a 1/4 inch of medium density padding on the wrist. So the actual craftsmanship of the gloves are beautiful. I'm gonna go ahead and close the strap real quick. Balance of the gloves is great, not too top heavy, so good distribution of weight throughout the entire glove, which is great as well. So just a beautiful looking glove. Now comfort wise, sliding in your hand in here, it's definitely a very unique feel. And close that Velcro strap. It has more of an old style look and feel to it. Kind of reminds me of those gloves from back like the 50s and 60s. It actually reminds me of the florist style glove in terms of just the actual shape of the glove. It's not, obviously it's not the exact style of glove a florist is, but it has some resemblance to that, to a florist glove, but definitely has more of an old school feel to it. Thumb has good positioning. The piping on the thumb right here was a little bit snug and tight at first, but it's loosened up over time, so you just gotta have a little bit of a break-in period with the thumb. But the actual placement of the thumb is great. I don't feel like my thumb jams at the very top. The width of the glove is really good. The finger compartment is wide enough to accommodate my fingers, and it's a very soft feel to it. You can see it has great flexibility in terms of opening and closing your fist. So being able to open and close feels really good. There's like you can feel like a rolled bead right here over this stitching, so you don't feel the stitching on your fingertips, which is really nice. You can really make a nice tight fist with this glove. So the comfort is definitely there. The wrist support feels really good, nice and locked in. If you decided to go with the lace-up model, obviously the lace-ups typically just give you a lot better support, and that really is for any kind of boxing glove. You decide to go with lace-ups, you typically get better wrist support. Just the convenience of having a Velcro strap obviously is the big game changer for a lot of people, especially for those that train by themselves. But excellent comfort, and definitely love the way the wrist feels. I don't feel like the glove is too long or it drops down too low on your forearm. The thumb is always a big thing for me. That's kind of a pet peeve of my own, is if the thumb's uncomfortable, and then it's just one of those things that just kind of continuously bothers you throughout your training. But the thumb is really nice with this glove. Now the protection and performance is awesome with this glove. I decided to go with the Tutela Evo, just based on the description and the way that Dinardo described to me. But you can see the consistency of the padding is definitely on the softer side. But what happens with this Tutela Evo, and what I love about it, is this pawn surface is nice and flat, especially when you're hitting the heavy bag with this. You can really land on those two front knuckles. So being able to position your hand properly in the boxing glove, to me, is the #1 thing that prevents hand injuries. or creates hand injuries. If you have a glove that's too rounded out or uses like a molded foam or a cheap foam, you're not able to position your hand properly. And regardless of how they try to describe the wrist support and the, you know, the space technology they use in the actual padding, if the position of your hand isn't proper, then that's going to affect your form, and you'll probably end up injuring your hand. But one thing I do love about these is when I make a fist, it has a really nice flat punch surface. I land on the two front knuckles, and the other good thing is this Tutela Evo is soft and protective. So the harder you basically hit, the more it compresses down, and really you get excellent pop, but protection as well with this glove. And again, just that excellent feedback, and you can see that the foam almost takes form of the object that you're striking. And then obviously over time, just depending on what you decide to do with these gloves, you can get the actual padding replaced by Dinardo. It's a part of his service. The customer service he offers is free replacement padding. So obviously over time, regardless of what glove you get, the foam is going to break down. It doesn't matter what kind of glove it is, Winning, Reyes, whatever. You use this for a few years, eventually the padding is going to break down. So he offers a free replacement padding service, which is obviously is really rare. You don't really see that at all when it comes to boxing gloves. So the fact that he'll replace the padding for you is awesome. So again, if you're using these for training, don't be afraid to go in there and get at it. So that's one thing I definitely love about this Tutela Evo. You get that great pop. Excellent pop on the bag, excellent feel. Feels great. Love the feedback, love the protection. Perfect padding for me. Kind of interested to see how the Tutela and Cassis padding is compared to this, but that's going to be for another day. So excellent protection. The padding feels great, comfort is great. The only thing I would say is probably the thumb being a little bit on the tight side, but that's by design. If you do really have this portion of your thumb is really fat, a lot of time that's kind of where the piping is going to pinch down on. So if you do have that, you know, make sure to mention that maybe you can get this a little bit widened out, or just go with a larger size glove. But that's probably the only area I would say cause a little bit of discomfort at first. But you can see the glove itself is really pliable, and it's not a stiff glove at all. So that I definitely like that, and again, has more of an old school feel to it. Now, when it comes to cost, that's the big thing. All right, so I know cost is huge, and these gloves start at 1,250 euro. If you convert that to US dollars, you're looking at like $1,400. Now I know you're probably like, whoa, what the hell? That's crazy expensive, and it is. However, when it comes to Dinardo, he understands that. He understands that he's selling a product that's not going to appeal to everybody, that not everybody either wants to pay for or can afford. So the way I look at it with these boxing gloves is they're kind of like a timepiece when it comes to, if you're looking at watches, right? All watches tell time. Whether you buy yourself, you know, a $10,000 tag, or you get yourself a $10 Casio watch, they essentially do the same thing, right? They tell you the time. It's 10 a.m. Okay, cool. The difference is the build quality in that tag is going to be typically a lot better than that Casio watch. They do the same thing with these, like Dinardo boxing gloves, or you can go to ringside and get yourself a pair of IMF gloves and essentially do the same thing. You hit the heavy bag, you can spar, train, whatever. The difference is the quality of the materials, the individual that created them, the color, the customization, the customer service. So you're paying a premium for that. Now, does that appeal to everybody? No. Does that mean that it's a bad product? No. It just depends on your personal budget, and if you really want something like a timepiece. Maybe these are the kind of gloves that you purchase, in my opinion, that you purchase these and then you can use them, maybe get the padding replaced and hand them on to your son, or you give them to someone real special to you and hand them down. It's kind of like a timepiece where you could hand them down to the next generation. So that's kind of my analogy with it. And you could really use that for any products when it comes to nice watches, really nice shoes. Some guys will get a pair of $400 Jordans, and you can go to Big Five Sporting Goods and get yourself a $40 pair of Nikes, and they do the same thing. You walk in them, you run in them, whatever. You can go exercise in them. It's just different things for different people. So I wouldn't look at it as a negative thing when it comes to the cost. I know some of you guys will be like, nah, those are just insanely expensive. They're only boxing gloves. You don't need to pay that much. I get it. Trust me, I understand. If you've been a subscriber to my channel, you've seen I've reviewed a million pairs of gloves. But my whole point behind it is that if you're willing to pay and you're looking for more of like a timepiece style glove that's, you know, completely customizable, you want something made in Italy, you want something that's gonna last a long time, has nice padding, comfortable, protective, and then these are definitely a good choice for you. It just depends on your personal budget and whether or not it makes sense for you to do that. So that's my take on it when it comes to gloves of this caliber, of this level. I mean, it even goes for guys with winning gloves that are $300-400, or Fly, or even Grants, you know, that people are kind of in their mind, they're trying to balance and kind of weigh the pros and cons. Like, damn, I don't know if I want to spend $400, but should I? I know a lot of pros use it, and is it worth it? You know, look at it for your own individual self. Don't worry about other people and what they're doing with their gloves. Look at it, look at your budget, look at what you like. It's your money, do what you want to do with that. So if you guys have any questions in the comments, as usual, put them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box where you can find these Dinardo boxing gloves. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.